Hey, moms, and welcome back to Humanizing Moms Season 2. So today we are talking to Dr. Kat. If you watched our quarantine series, which of course you've watched it and it's linked right here anyway, then you have met Dr. Kat. She is my friend, my doctor, my boss.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome and all around. And she so graciously agreed to come on and actually talk to us about her motherhood journey, because it has been an interesting one.
It has. Interesting is a really nice way of putting it. It's been a complete shit show. Came in like a freight train, an unexpected freight train, if you know what I mean by that. Unexpected. I'm dropping words there. No, but first and foremost, thank you. I appreciate you both for what you do for this community, for showing up and providing content that helps moms feel connected. We need more of that. So your efforts are appreciated, and I applaud you both for what you're doing. So thank you. You're both great moms, and you're providing great stuff for the women in this area. So thank you.
Look, you're the one that's supposed to cry in this, not us, okay?
Should I brought a box of tissues? I'll just use my sleeve. I mean, let's be honest. Like, this is not going to be pretty. All right. So I'll just do like a 30-second background. My name is Kat. Actually, my legal name is Catherine Wilson. I am a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a doctor. I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. I wear many hats. But my motherhood journey, which I identify with probably the most out of all of them, started almost 14, well, I guess 14 years ago, right? Because you have to think about conception and prenatal, right? Like that's really when motherhood journey begins.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your womb to someone else. And so, yeah, my oldest is 13, a boy. He's amazing. He's just light of my life. And then I have my daughter who's 8. She is the only girl, and she is enough girl for the whole family. She is amazing, but man, whoo, she's full of it. And then I have my little firecracker, my 5-year-old boy who gives us a run for our money. We always say there's a reason why he's the third, because if he was the first, he'd be an only child. He is, oh my God, he's crazy, but we love them. We love them all. They're so individually so different, so unique, and so wonderful. And I love being a mom. It is so wonderful. It is like, it's so fun. And I enjoy so much of it. But the whole journey was not easy. I think what's really interesting is like, and I'm gonna be real transparent and honest. I think like from the outside, like our family paints this like pretty little picture, of like both parents are doctors, very successful, 3 beautiful, healthy children. Oh, look at that. But like what it has taken to get there has been so much crying, hard work, sacrifice, moments of wanting to give up on ourselves, on each other, on our kids. It has not been an easy journey. That being said, it's why I love being a mom and why I love working with moms, is because I've gotten to where I am. It's like, y'all, if I can do this, anybody can. Like if I can have the life that I have, I really feel like it's possible, because I have overcome losing my dad. My dad dropped dead in front of me when I was 14. I overcame addiction to anti-anxiety medication, overcame marijuana use, alcohol abuse, tobacco use, really poor relationships in my early 20s. And then finally making the decision to become a doctor. Like, okay, I got my poop in a group. I know what I want to do after doing everything in the world, right? Like I was a nanny. I worked in the corporate world. I worked in retail. Every time I had a new job, my family would roll their eyes like, oh, okay, what are you going to do next, Kat? And then I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. And they were like, sure, likely story, right? I wasn't smart growing up. I barely made it through school. I almost got kicked out of college. Um, but I just felt really passionate and called to do this. And so I was really excited. I was 27. I felt like I had my head on straight. I had my old habits were gone. I was really living a life where I was like very health oriented, like eating good and exercising. And I just felt like I was on the right course. And I met Jake the first week of school, my husband, and we had this great relationship, really great. Because a year after dating, we found out we were pregnant. And it rocked our world. Well, Jake, first of all, is 5 years younger. So he was 23 and I was 28 when we found out we were having a baby. And I was really pissed. At first I was very frustrated. I felt like
Yeah.
here I am. I'm an adult. So I know how those things work. I've worked so hard to just clean my act up and get myself in a position where I could move forward with something really important and impactful. And now I've gone and done this. Like, what the hell? Right. And obviously, Jake wasn't planning on having a baby. I mean, he was only 23 years old. We weren't married. We'd literally just been dating a year. Right after, yeah, our 1 year of dating, I was looking at a calendar, when you're like, I get my period out. And then you're like, you count the weeks and you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, fuck. Yeah, that's 5 weeks since you've had a period. Yeah. So I was like, hey, I have one more anniversary gift for you, your baby. And it was really hard because so I had just started the doctor program. I had moved down here to do my prerequisites because I didn't have a bachelor's degree in sciences. And Jake was already pretty far into the chiropractic program, right? A year in, which is far in, it's a third of the way through. And we're like, oh my God, how are we going to do this? We have no family here. Like, he moved from Michigan, I moved from Massachusetts. We didn't know anyone. And you're students, you don't have 2 pennies to rub together.
Yeah.
Right? Like childcare, that's hilarious.
Mhm.
Like, could I pay you with these $3 and some hugs? Like, I have nothing else to give, right? Like, I could adjust you, but I'm not really a chiropractor yet. So we're like, how is this going to work? So Jake was like, okay, well, I want to open a business and like, you're the mom, like, not for nothing, like very gender specific, but hey, you know what? Like, he doesn't have breasts. I do. And we wanted to breastfeed. That was really important to us. One thing I thank God for every day is that Jake and I have been on the same page in parenting every step of the way. We may not have agreed on things for each other and we may have conflicts in that regards, but we have always put our children first and been on the same page with how we want to do things for them. And I honestly thank God for that every day. So we were like, we want to breastfeed. It's really important. So it just seemed feasible and reasonable for me to go down to half, going to school part-time rather, and he continued to forge ahead and complete the doctorate program on time. So that's what we did. So instead of it taking me 3 years, it took me 7 years to become a doctor. Really, really hard and very expensive. A lot of school debt. It's really hard, but sorry, I thought I heard a child. It's a dog. It's a fur baby, but he wants to come in, but I won't let him. Sorry. So, I had James while I was in school, and I'm very stubborn, a lot of like to my detriment sometimes, but also some of that has really paid off in like the choices I've made for my children. So like breastfeeding, I was like, no, I'm going to breastfeed. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for as long as I can. And I mean, I pumped too, because I had to go back to classes, which by the way, was a week after I gave birth, because you can't tell the doctor program, like, I really need 3 months. Like, I need my body to heal. They're like, okay, so can you register for classes? Because school starts next week.
Right.
So yeah, I gave birth over the 3-week break, and I had a week with James. And then literally like 8 days after I pushed a baby out of my private parts, I was like walking him in a stroller, like a hand-me-down stroller from Jake's sister, registering for classes. What's that?
I said, but you did it.
Yeah. I did it. I mean, like I said, it's doable. I failed a lot. I failed a lot of classes. Like, it's really hard to feed a child every 2 hours through the night and then study for exams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how my parenting journey started. Um, but when you go through the hard times, it gives you something to look back on and be like, damn, if I can do that, I can do this hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Anything. Yeah.
I can get through that. Yeah, that because when you're in it, you're like, this is impossible. Like, I don't really know how I can one more day handle this. But then you get through that day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like when they're not sleeping and sleep regression, and when they're teething, or when they're starting to throw tantrums, or when they're fighting with you and say, I hate you, you're the worst mom ever. Mine have never said that, by the way, but I'm just saying, I know some do. It feels impossible, but when you get through, you look back and say, okay, I can do these hard things.
Mhm.
It gives you that foundation of strength to get through other things in your life that maybe, pose a challenge.
I can see that. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So it's definitely like unexpected beginning to your journey, but then you have two more kids. So like, how did you go from such an unexpected thing to then you have more kids?
Mhm.
Because you know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, no, totally. Totally. Cause that's been a whirlwind too.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like you should say when a mommy and a daddy love each other.
yeah, right.
So how did you end up? How did you get two more kids?
I have to tell you, like, once you get to the end of my story, you really will be like, yeah, you're a doctor. Like, do you, like, like the parts make babies? It's like our situation is so bananas.
If there's
But I just, I'm honest. So like, because I'm so stubborn, right? So here's the thing, like I don't want to say like it's an addictive personality, but I'm just very stubborn. Like when I get my mind set on something, I stick with it. And when I started this health journey, I was in it, and that means no birth control, right? I had relied on drugs and alcohol to alter how I felt, right? So I live with anxiety. I've had anxiety since the day my dad died, but I made a choice to manage it, to live with it, and have it be a part of me without medication. So I didn't want to use anything. I didn't want to use anything that could alter my chemistry, my hormones. I just wanted to really show up and feel everything and learn how to handle it without relying on drugs, because I became addicted and it was very scary as a young child. And so I didn't even want to use birth control. And so, there's other situations and other things you can use. Yes, I get that. I understand. And sometimes we did, and sometimes we didn't. And I was joking, like when you have two healthy people and they don't use birth control, they make babies. And so we actually, weren't sure what we wanted to do. We knew for a while, we were like, we don't want any more children. Like this is a lot. James is amazing. He's so beautiful and perfect and wonderful. He's such a blessing from God. But we felt like, man, if we choose to live in Georgia, like we're alone. He has no cousins, no family. Like maybe he should have a sibling. Maybe he should have someone to live life with. And so we weren't not trying, and we weren't trying. You know what I mean? We were just kind of being. At that point, we had gotten engaged, we got married, we knew we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. And so when James was 4, we got pregnant unexpectedly. But we're very excited about it. Super, super, super excited. We felt like, okay, this is like our answer. And I had a miscarriage. It super, super sucked. It sucked because I was like, I don't get it. Like I wasn't trying, and I had James. And here we are like having this open relationship of like, not using protection, just being in love, right? And then like we get pregnant and we lose this baby. Like it didn't seem fair. It seemed it almost felt like a punishment. Like that's like the feeling you get as a mom. You're like, oh, I'm being punished. Right. And so we were devastated. And it made us realize like how much we did want to have another baby.
Yeah.
So badly. And we tried again and had another miscarriage, chemical pregnancy. Then we tried again, we tried again, and we tried again. And we were just like obsessively trying. It's like charting everything and tracking my cycles and nothing. And I remember my mom, who I love dearly, was like, you just have to stop trying. She's like, I hate to say that because it's not my opinion, but like you're killing yourself. Like I remember, like I get emotional, but I remember like sitting on the stairs in our house and like coming out from the bathroom because I started my period, right? And that's like horrible. You're like, shit, right? And I remember crying, and even Jake said, like, you got to stop doing this to yourself. Like, you're killing yourself. You have a child, and he's beautiful and he's wonderful, and you're becoming a doctor. Like, we have to get to a point where we stop because we're killing ourselves.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, you're right. Like, easy, you say it, easier said than done. But I, it's like you hear the words, but it's hard to like actually follow that through and live through it. But I did just kind of like have this moment where I'm like, all right, I just need to give this up to God and just live my life. I had been through so much, and I'd always seen like what things happen on the other side of faith, honestly. And so we did, and then we got pregnant. We would have a relationship and say, let's be together, and if we get pregnant, we get pregnant. But we weren't like, oh, hey, I'm ovulating, like,
Right.
it was just like we were in love and we were having fun and we were just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
And so we got pregnant with our daughter, and she's wonderful. We always joke, we say she's the only one we ever planned. Because I told you I had 3 kids, right? Like, you do the math. 3 kids, one planned. Okay. So here we are. We've got a boy and a girl. Side note, when Alexander was born 2 weeks before I graduated. And so I was like, I really need a break from like being stressed out and doing stuff. And I couldn't finish my boards. Like, it was almost impossible for me to take boards while having my son, with Jake running a business. I never saw him.
Yeah.
And then being pregnant. It just was impossible. So I was like, I'm going to wait on boards. Like, at this point, I've come this far. I've waited this long. I'm going to wait longer, especially if it means enjoying this journey of being a mom again. Right.
Yeah.
And so I took a break. I was like, I'm going to stay at home with Alexander, be a stay-at-home mom. And so I was with her, and things were going really good. And then I came back about 9 months in, which is really funny. I'm like, I really want to be a stay-at-home mom. 9 months later, I'm like, I need to go back to work. Like, I need to do something. I can't stay at home. This is so stressful. So I went and managed the office for Jake for about 2 years. Took boards, passed boards. I'm like, I got my boy and girl. I've passed boards. I'm ready to be a doctor. And I got pregnant.
It's that enjoying life.
Gone. What's that?
I said it's that enjoying life thing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, hello. And so, yeah, so I got pregnant with William. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just not even going to put a lot of effort into the office. Like, I'm still going to manage, but I'm not going to like come in as the doctor until I've had him. So I had a great pregnancy. And then I did like a 3-month, sort of postpartum leave,
Right.
and then started back into practice when he was 3 months old. And I'm so fortunate. And I just like, shout out to Jake. He stayed home with our kids 2 days a week, so I could go in 2 full days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and kind of do my own thing and be my own person. So no more children. We're good. We're done. We've done the things to make sure that the babies don't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it was like one of those things. I mean, people still ask me like, are you gonna have another one? It's so weird. It's like once you have like multiple children, or maybe it's
They
just
just
anytime you've
assume.
had one. I think it's even if you've had one, they just assume you're gonna have like 7.
That's true.
And that's a lot.
So yeah, it's been
It's not 15.
it's so strange.
Yeah.
Why do I have to ask you that?
What? Oh, why?
Like-
If you're
like-
gonna have another one?
Yeah, like, are you gonna have more? Like, who cares? Like, why like, I'm just enjoying the one I have.
It's the same as like the people though that say like you're having another one. Like,
It is.
calm down. I only have 2, or I only have like 1.
Right.
It goes.
Yeah.
It can go like either way.
It's so true. People are just judgy. People are just opinionated.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
People are opinionated no matter which end you look at it from. So
Yeah.
Totally true. Because
So
I mean, if you did get pregnant again, they'd be like, oh.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, people said that way with William. They're like, oh, you're having another. I'm like, It's 3. It's not 7 or 10. I don't know. People are just strange.
It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter how many it was. There is you're gonna get one extreme or the other.
And then there's my mother-in-law who's like, "Are you sure you don't want a 4th? They're so snuggly." I'm like, "Are you gonna stay up with them at night?"
Yeah, really.
I was like, "Yeah, if I could guarantee sleep and have like a cook, cleaner, someone to stay up with the baby at night, I would totally have a 4th."
Okay, that's when you remind her that she has other sons.
Yes. Oh, she has like 13 grandchildren. She's not struggling for grandbabies. I mean, it's not like she lacks. Anyway, she just says we make such beautiful babies, which we do. They're pretty cool. Pretty cute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in a very long, drawn out nutshell, that is my journey to being a mom of 3.
But I mean, would you do it any other way? Like if you could, that's one of those Facebook questions, right? It's like, if you could go back and you knew all these things, would you do it differently?
No, because people, it's funny, like people say that's about my dad, right? My dad dying so young. And and like, "Oh, would you ever want to bring him back?" And I'm like, I have so much gratitude for my life and what Jake and I have created and what it's taken. It has given us, like, we don't just have a great life and nice things. We have a deeper appreciation for the things that we do have. We have a deeper appreciation for little things, like really beautiful sunsets and good walks together and a great cup of coffee. Like, we have learned, coming from nothing, coming from a place where our Christmas gifts for James were used off of Craigslist because we couldn't afford to get anything store bought. When you find and have that learned appreciation, you just, I don't know, I wouldn't want to change that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to change that. Like I just, it's also, like I said before, it's given me the strength, it's given me that foundation to do hard things, that when things get difficult, I'm okay with it to a degree. Like right now, I'm caretaker for my mom, who is my bestest friend. She has been. I mean, like I said, my dad passed away when I was 14 and she never remarried. And so it was her and I.
Yeah.
And, she's sick. She has Parkinson's and early onset dementia, and I'm her caretaker. And it's so hard. I mean, like, I cried on the way home tonight from bringing her home, but there's that, I don't feel hopeless. I don't feel like there's no answers. I know that good things can come from hard things. I know that we'll get through this somehow. Even at a time where she passes, I'll look back and know that this time together was so special. So like, even though it hurts, like you're not denying yourself of the feelings of like being sad or being stressed.
Right.
Or because I can be sad, I can be stressed, but just still know that things are going to be okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't go over.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good answer. Good answer. Good answer. And I actually think that's a great place to stop for part 1.
Yeah,
so,
I was thinking the same thing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So all you moms out there, make sure you're subscribed to this channel so that you get notified when part 2 of Kat's Mama Journey comes out. Make sure you like this video because Dr. Kat's awesome. And comment down below, can you relate to anything, any part of Dr. Kat's story, or anything you want to say? We would love to hear what you have to say as well. And make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Momestly. And we will see you for part 2.